Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly, reporting tonight from Southern California. Thanks for watching us. Talking Points does not believe in white privilege.
Well, that's the end then. That's the end of the episode of Truths.
However, there is no question that African Americans have a much harder time succeeding in our society than whites do.
Fucking hell, Bill. That's confusing. There is no such thing as white privilege. However, it is worse to be black. Bill, like, Jesus, I'm getting confused. What's his next point going to be? But they deserve it.
Here are the facts. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the unemployment rate for black Americans is 11.4%. It's just over 5% for whites, 4.5% for Asians. So, do we have Asian privilege in America?
Don't be sarcastic, Bill.
88% of Asian Americans graduate from high school, compared to 86% for whites and just 69% for blacks. So there you go. That means 31% of African Americans have little chance to succeed in the free marketplace because they're uneducated. They're high school dropouts.
They're dropouts. They're layabouts. That might be as a result of social conditions that have an economic component that relate to race. Read it, Bill! Why don't you listen? Why don't I get a job on Bill's show, doing the research, and if they go, Bill, you know in Talking Point, you're planning to do that racist thing? Yes, I'm planning. It's not racist, but like, what? Well, anyway, we've done some research. Said me, look at this. Jew. This is bullcrap! I'm not reading this on air. No!
If African American children do not learn those things, they will likely fail as adults. They will be poor. They will be angry. And they often will be looking to blame someone else.
If you want to do well, you won't go around acting and behaving in a way that's not, well, like me. Be a bit more like me, is what I will say, or be a bit more Asian. Those are your options. One
caveat, the Asian American experience historically has not been nearly as tough as the African American experience.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I'm glad that it's you. There is one caveat. Yes, we didn't enslave Asian Americans. We were prejudiced and bigoted against early Chinese settlers. That's true.
Slavery is unique, and it has harmed black Americans to a degree that is still being felt today. But,
can't say slavery was bad. But it's this key point.
In order to succeed in our competitive society, every American has to overcome the obstacles they face.
Fairness and justice, they're always talking about that as being like a really important American values, but here Bill contradicts that. No, you play with a card you're dealt, and if you were dealt the slave card, well, I'm afraid that's tough luck.
If you understand Judeo-Christian tradition, you know that Jesus preached widely about forgiveness. I know he would not be happy with the corruption in the American media.
I know for a fact that Jesus would not like corruption in the American media. Bill, how do you imagine Jesus, who, let's face it, was a bit of a hippie, would feel about some of these outrageous racist arguments that you put out there, your pro-corporate agenda, your constant condemnation of the poor and the vulnerable? You do not know the mind of Christ, Bill.
They wouldn't like that at all. The Nazarene loathed dishonesty.
Loathed dishonesty. I've been studying Jesus pretty hard now, and I picked up that the best way to interpret the message of this great mystical mind is by going on Fox News and being a bit of a bastard.
Factor tip of the day, in your life, strive to be fair.
Strive to be fair. Bill, you can't say that. Are you striving to be fair today, even? Yes, I was striving.
Surround yourself with quality people, and you will have a quality life.
Like me, I hang out with that crazy Judge Janine lady, and things are getting better and better.
Bomb them, keep bombing them, bomb them again and again.
She's just a joyous woman to be around. I wish Bill O'Reilly was my granddad. I've gone beyond hating him. He's too lovely. Granddad, what was that stuff that mad racist stuff you were saying on Fox yesterday? Oh, come on, that's just a bit of fun. Do you want to go in the garden?
There is absolutely no evidence, none at all, that Jesus was married to anyone or had any children. In the past, some have written that Jesus had brothers and sisters, but there's no evidence of that either. His family lived communally with other families, and at the time, if you were in that circumstance, everyone in your dwelling was referred to as a brother or sister.
Okay, so let's take that knowledge of this community thing where people live together and call each other brother and sister and turn it into the most selfish, individualistic, and judgmental value system in the history of man.
But that doesn't mean
We have to be nice.
the 8th commandment says, "Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor." That means you are not to say anything untrue about a fellow human being. But what about yourself or other things you may exaggerate? Every human being lies on occasion.
That's fine. Carry on with that.
Many of the deceits are trivial and unintentional.
Like, remember, for example, when I said I was in the Falklands War? Trivial. Or maybe when we blamed the citizens of Ferguson for the police shooting them dead in the street. It's unintentional.
The singer Beyonce makes a video that is very explicit for children, particularly young girls between the ages of 10 and 14, who are vulnerable, don't know how to really process this. So I said, maybe this isn't a good thing. They came after me. You wrote almost the same thing. They came after you, they being the liberal media. Why do they see themselves as a defender of all things Beyonce?
Who are these self-appointed arbiters who tell people what's right and wrong? I mean, where they get off thinking that they have the divine right to tell people, for example, that there should be a great big fence between America and Mexico, or that Muslims are dangerous. I mean, where the hell do these people... Oh, no, that's me.
But the vehemence and the personal attacks that come out of this toward me and toward you, that surprised me.
I mean, all we tried to do was isolate and attack an empowered black woman. And it seemed like some people didn't like us doing that.
I mean, what do you have invested in this Beyonce? What is...
Beyonce? What is it? He thinks it's like some sort of potent mist that floats through life, influencing consciousness and creating teen pregnancy. Oh, God, close the window, dear. The Beyonce is rising. Oh, man, independent, make your teenage pregnant.
Here's the point. She doesn't have to go there.
She doesn't
to
have to
be
do it,
successful.
and she
could
chose to do it.
She could be a trend setter.
Bill O'Reilly telling Beyonce, you could be a trend setter. Why don't you set a trend like me? What I'm trying to do, for example, is be like an old guy, criticizing everything, particularly young, attractive black women. Give it a go.
The president said in an interview with Glamour magazine that he can't listen to Beyonce with his daughters because it would embarrass him.
I mean, I don't want to be reductive, but it just is image after image of powerful black people. And Bill O'Reilly go, no, I don't like this. You could be forgiven for thinking Bill O'Reilly just doesn't want powerful black people.
I was surprised. I mean, the attacks, even last night on the left-wing websites, O'Reilly and Huckabee's obsession with Beyonce, like we care about her.
Day 2 of me not caring about Beyonce includes this breakdown of why I don't care about Beyonce and why I don't find her appealing at all, and why I'd never imagine myself on my knees behind her going, could you love me? That's coming up after the break.
And the fact that Beyonce is black is not irrelevant either.
How is that relevant, though? If she is, like, I went after Eminem.
I went after him. Hey, Eminem. What, man? Grr, stop it! Stop with those long, shouty poems you do, those brilliant cultural analyses, the way you've tapped into the psyche of lower-class American people and provided a voice to the world with a lyrical genius not seen since Jacobean Britain. Okay, Bill.
Because I just think he's vile. And then I went after Ludacris.
Ludacris! Yeah, stop injecting humor and lightness into the world of hip-hop. Okay, Bill.
But the black woman, then it gets into another zone, you're saying.
Today we're going to be with our friend and malevolent uncle, Bill O'Reilly, and he's going to teach us why everything in your life is your fault as an individual. There's no such thing as society, particularly not if you're a black person.
All right, so you say that the Republican Party is apathetic. Maybe, that might be true.
Every so often Bill just drops a facade and just goes, yeah.
I mean, I think they're more intimidated, though, than uncaring. I think they're afraid.
Intimidated by what?
I think they're afraid. I think they're afraid of black people.
Are black folks scary? Are they scary?
No. The white Republican power structure is afraid of black Americans.
Bill? What are you Say.
They don't know how to treat them. They don't know how to speak to them.
Stop saying them, Bill. Stop saying them.
They don't know anything about the culture, and they don't want to be called a racist bigot, so they stay away. Just my opinion.
But why does that make you scared as opposed to being interested in understanding?
Well, because I'm one of the primary propagators of these ideas, and my livelihood depends on these kind of divisions.
They feel it's not worth the trouble, the few votes they might siphon off.
Siphon off? It's not worth the trouble. That's how democracy works. We might better siphon off a few votes by caring about our fellow man, to whom we have a great debt. But it's not worth it. It's not worth it for a few votes, so just fuck it, just leave them.
To get involved in it, that's how they feel. I know that for a fact.
He knows that for a fact. I know that. I'm actually friends with people that are quite high up in the Republican Party, and that is it. I mean, that's again, Bill, actually, quite a lot of the time, Bill's telling you the absolute truth. It's not that Bill's a liar. It's just he believes in a perverted truth.
White privilege still exists today because even if you have an Ivy League degree, even if you have job experience, these stories are abound every day. You can have all the same credentials I can have, the same credentials as Bill O'Reilly, and you still get the call back for the job, and I don't.
But you have the good job.
Oh, we're talking me.
Yeah, you just said you.
No,
you have a good job.
I am one individual. Oprah is one individual.
Right.
Bill Cosby's one individual.
Barack Obama's one individual. You all have good jobs.
But these...
All you individuals! Obama! Oprah! You all got great jobs. So what is the fucking problem? You got your great jobs, now shut up!
The numbers bear out the fact that if you happen to have less melanin in your skin, the chances are that you'll do better. And
the odds are you'll do better, but it isn't because of white privilege.
Yeah, I agree. But it's for this new reason that I'm about to invent. This is going to be good.
What is it? Because you're smarter?
No.
Because you work harder?
You just asked me. You want me to answer?
Tell me why.
It's a collapse of the black family.
It's a collapse of the black family. Some reason, the black family, that thing, it collapsed. I don't know why it collapsed. It's not that there was any external pressure on it, or any condemnation, or unequal opportunities, or any of that. Just for no reason, the black family, it just went in like a souffle. Maybe someone opened the other door.
Every major corporation in this country has outreach to minorities. They want minorities. Every college has outreach. They're in New York City here. You can go from preschool through your graduate degree and never pay a dime if you're a minority.
Yeah, if you win some kind of fucking Hunger Games lottery, it's not the normal life. Bill is part of the machine, political, corporate and media, that just whenever truth comes, go, no, shit, truth, get that down, don't let people communicate, don't let people get together, otherwise we're fucked here at the top.
And I will go back to the fact that it is about the disintegration of the African American family and the not having supervision on the children.
There's no supervision on the children. You're in a black family. Okay, you're the dad, maybe. I don't know. You're Bill Cosby. You're Oprah. I don't know which one. Maybe they're married. I don't know their personal circumstances. The children are over there. Maybe it's Rudy from the I liked her, or Urkel, or something. Something happens over outside. It's a riot from other black families. You look away. The child's unsupervised. It does its own riot. Deterioration of a family. Thank you very much. That's Bill O'Reilly.
You have to get educated, and the educational experience.
And if you're trapped in an inner city school,
right,
where you're staying in dilapidated classrooms.
Why are you trapped there?
Why are you trapped? What's happened? Has Oprah tripped near the door? And maybe Bill Cosby, he's got tangled in the drapes by the window, and you can't get out.
Used books, missing pages.
Why are you trapped there?
Because
what has happened was it Jamie Foxx is in the schoolyard and he's not been supervised, so he's maybe gone crazy with a gun. Like you'll notice that they're never white, these people that go crazy with guns.
Because Republicans and Democrats don't care about economic opportunity and social mobility for black Americans.
That may be true. That may be true that the Republicans and Democrats, you can't just brush that off. Yeah, sure, it may be true that the Republicans and Democrats don't care about creating equal opportunity. That's the argument, Bill. Not your imaginary black family that's collapsing inwards like a Yorkshire pudding.
On the political surface, but you're trapped there because your parents did not earn enough money, or cannot or will not earn enough money to...
Cannot or will not. I can earn enough money, but I won't earn enough money.
Get you the hell out of there,
and Bill's arguments all lead back to demonstrating the problem that Tavis Smiley is trying to describe. Yeah, well, you're trapped in the school. You're trapped in the system. You're unrepresented by nothing.
What the government has to do is let the private sector unleashed so that more jobs will be created.
Yes! Brilliant, Bill. There we go. We reached the conclusion. All of this nonsense, all this flim-flam rhubarb leads to unleash the corporate sector. You are the corporate sector. This is a propaganda machine for the corporate sector going, this will end if we have more corporate freedom, if we have less regulation, if we have less social structures to prevent elitism. How could it, Bill? It's what's caused the problem, Bill. How have you reached that conclusion? Please help us understand. Bill, it's almost like you understand the truth, but then you say that the solutions to the problems created are the opposite of what they are.
It's that same private sector that's sitting on $1 trillion of money right now after we bailed them out that they want pour back into the economy to stimulate those jobs.
And you know why? Because they're greedy,
They're greedy.
They're greedy.
We
Okay?
built something else.
But that's always the way it's going to be in capitalism.
He actually knows. He actually knows. But you know why? Because they're greedy! And that's that! Well, should we regulate them? No! Deregulate them so that the greed can grow! Eventually the greed will pop, and what's the greed full of? Love. And then all the love will spill out and it'll solve everything. So deregulate it. Amazing.
Fact to follow-up segment tonight, an outrageous situation in Chicago over the 4th of July weekend. 82 people were shot, 14 fatally, one weekend. Almost all the shootings were in the black neighborhoods on the south side of the city. As you may know, this has been going on for years, and police cannot stop it.
You know, everybody asks me what's different about New York and Chicago. I can tell you very simply, the proliferation of firearms.
But that's bull.
It isn't, mate. He just said he's a policeman in Chicago. He knows more than you. He's not serving any other agenda.
Chicago's the third largest city in the country, Steve. And the gun crime is concentrated in a few neighborhoods. Not Asian American neighborhoods, not Hispanic American neighborhoods, certainly not on the Gold Coast in the white neighborhoods.
Firstly, why have you got all these different colour neighbourhoods in the United States of America? United. Well, adjacent states of America. The white people are there, and then there's people that are a bit brown, and then very brown ones that are there.
It's all in the black neighborhoods, and it's gang-related, most of it. Isn't there a cultural problem here, Steve?
Bill, even if it is a cultural, even if your racist analysis is correct, it's still better to have less guns. And I don't agree with your racist analysis, and I don't agree with your truncated version of the narrative of the United States of America. I wonder if there's any reason why there could be like this cultural distinction for black people. Like, it's almost like they're angry about some things, like something might have happened to them that's making them feel angry and maligned. Let's look at history. Don't you dare look at history. That's things that happened. Yeah, but what about your Second Amendment? That's in history. You can look at that bit, but no other bit of it. Don't look at that bit of history. Hey, you had them as slaves. No, shut up.
So shouldn't they have stop and frisk in Chicago to get the guns away from the bad guys?
Black people will do this. Why don't you stop them and frisk them? Stop. You idiot, Bill. It's this attitude that's causing the problem.
They can do that now. They do that now.
it.
Those police are out on the street in force, stopping people, stopping cars without probable cause, in fact, making up probable cause after the fact, searching people. There are whole portions
even
of the community
police chief
that
of
believe.
Chicago admits he can't stop it.
I think he was saying, Bill, I think his main message was, I don't know if I was watching a different program, he seemed to be saying, because there's too many guns. He said that there's no doubt about it, tighter gun controls. The bit of information that he said that I am going to listen to is the bit where he said he can't. This is what happened. He went, I can't stop it. Then there was this silent bit. And then that was the end of the press conference.
Tonight, Talking Points memo, how the left wants to handle tens of thousands of children illegally entering the USA. Liberal America trying to convince us that poor people in Central America, Mexico, and everywhere else are fleeing economic oppression, therefore they are refugees.
Oh, refugees.
Most of these kids and their parents can't speak English, have little education, and few skills. How are they going to compete in our competitive marketplace here? How? The answer is they're not going to compete.
Larry didn't leave very long, did he, for that rhetorical question? How? They're not going to. It's not going to happen at all. I've lived in Los Angeles.
Mexican people are doing all of the work, or at least Central American people. They're fixing everything, they're doing all the gardening, actual stuff that matters. They might not be doing stuff like making pretend films about pretend things, or making pretend financial transactions with pretend abstract money, apparently $17 trillion of which is fucking somewhere else. They're not doing that.
And it will take decades for most of them to be self-sufficient.
I don't understand that either. That's just people, isn't it? I mean, like, all people take decades. Look at this Mexican, it's just shed its diaper. Oh, it wants to suck its mummy's titty. What's wrong with it? No, now it can't, it's learning to read, look. I think what you're describing, Bill, is people growing up over time.
And you say, Powers?
I would say every child that comes into this country, we should take care of.
Everyone in the world.
That's what I would say.
Everyone, all the Chinese.
They're not.
The Chinese aren't coming. America owe that $17 trillion to the Chinese. They might come. We have our $17 trillion now.
Really, all the Chinese are going to come to the United States, Bill?
If they
children
could, they
by
would.
themselves?
If they could, they would. They hate China. Have you tried those noodles? Have you watched that TV? A bunch of Chinese guys saying Chinese stuff. They don't have a me in China. And if they did, it'd be a yellow me with narrower eyes and narrower opinions. I hate China, and they hate China too. They want to live inside of me. They won't rest until they have become me. These 50,000 children and the Chinese, they're all going to come and want to live inside Bill O'Reilly.
But they can't. We're talking about
If you were president, they would.
But you cannot. Oh, really? How would they? Would they fly over here?
No, they'll take a little boat, Kirsten.
They'll take a little boat. The Chinese are going to get on a little boat. They're going to come here, and they're going to take our jobs.
So you want every kid in the world who comes here, you think
That's not
America
what I
should take
said.
care of? Yes, you did.
I said the children that come across the border.
Am I wrong?
Sure.
Did she just say that? Wait, Kirsten. Let's let Monica jump in.
Into this country, we should take care of.
Did she not say that every child he shows up here we should take care of?
He's got his own evil version of Blonde Woman that he's got in the studio. Yes, Bill, who didn't say that?
What I heard you say, Kirsten, was that if there's a child in distress somewhere in the world, that we should accept them with open arms.
Why did I say with incredulity things that sound really normal? You said that if there's a child in the world in distress, we should welcome him with open arms. Yeah, no, that does sound weird.
A recent Harris poll says 46% of Americans who are not retired say they live paycheck to paycheck. 46%. Now, every one of those people and their families are in grave danger.
I mean, it's clear where Bill's going with this. We've got to help these people that are living paycheck to paycheck. There's obviously the money out there. I mean, the money is there. People are like, I mean, all of the luxury goods businesses across the world are going up. More Bentley cars being sold than ever. Soaring. Some of that money, Bill, some of that.
You should have at least $25,000 that you can access if you get fired or if a disaster hits you or your family. $25K. So, how do you do that? First of all, never waste money. Ever.
Don't make me give up my wasting money. That's the first thing I do with my low-paid job is I get some of my money and I waste it away. Here you go, there's some there. I'll buy some more, I don't know, chocolate bras, gambling on the outcome of a squirrel fight. That's 20% gone. You say that's going to stop, Bill, okay, alright. You're going to get around, though, to taxing the wealthy, are you, and taking some money off big business, but oh yes, you're right, I should stop the wasting money.
Then, take a look at your life. See what your vices are. See what you overdo.
Cry and worry? What's going on with this lot over at Fox News? It's a really vindictive bunch. What do you overdo? Well, I had some food yesterday. Well, that's gotta go. You were greedy. What are you doing? Eating trinkets, was you?
Then, go to websites like Groupon, get discounts on stuff that you have to buy.
Go on Groupon. You don't need a welfare state. You don't need redistribution of wealth. You don't need a fair society where the corporate interests are curtailed. Groupon.
Never pay full price.
Don't pay it. Is that the full price, sir?
Yes, it is.
I won't pay it. Bill O'Reilly.
I'm going to have to ask you to leave my store.
Also, every time you have loose change in your pocket, put it in a big jar.
Ah, the big jar. Yeah, that'll help.